Hello, everyone. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, and welcome to the day of the heart in the emotional week of Pisces. So let's talk about unconditionality, which is a term that for sure we all have used, but that we don't usually take in its whole aspect. So when we speak about unconditionality, and most of it related to the concept of love in Pisces, we used to make this kind of mistake, saying that unconditionality means to be there for that person for whatever that other person needs. Okay, like here we are, or I am here for you, or something like this. Speaking about Pisces, we used to relate the unconditional love, unconditional word with the love. Unconditional love related to being there for everyone, in service to all the people, giving everything as possible from oneself to the rest. So that's the unconditional love from our point of view. Also, culturally, in our daily cultures, we used to say that an unconditional person is that person that is always there, that will never betray, that is constantly there for us, for you. And so these concepts, even if they can be taken like this, they are not specifically speaking about what this word means, okay? So let's understand the word in order to understand the meaning. Denial, okay? Denial. In is denial. Con means with, together. Bueno, so dic comes from the word dicere, that means to say or to point at something, okay, to point. Kion or tion means action, and ality means an attribute, a quality. So the word dicere in Latin means say, comes from the Indo-European language deic, and deic means to point at, okay? So this, I was writing today in the blog explaining that that the ancient ones, they didn't use many words to speak. They just used a few words to speak. So they were mostly trying to explain what was happening in the environment. They were trying to point at the prey. They were trying to point at the fruit. They were trying to point at the path and notify that there is someone coming or something like this. So they would say to the others what was happening, and they were not using much words. They were just puntualizing what was happening and where to go, what to do. Okay, so this concept is the one that makes the word say to appear, which is to express the idea of pointing at things. But we started to speak about it. We started to puntualize things by talking. Okay, so that's why the word puntualize or to sign something is related to the word say, to say something. From this concept of the Latin, we have diction, okay? So diction means to point or to try to say something, to punctualize something, pointing at a concept, okay? Diction is the action of saying something. So then when we add con, which is with, what we are doing, like condition, in that word, what we are doing is that we are pointing at something, that we are speaking about something, but that we had to be, that there has to be consensus between the different parts. So we have a condition when many of us agree about what we are talking about. So we have a contradiction when the different parts doesn't agree in what we are speaking about. Here comes the moment when we all say that we agree in something, that this is what we had agreed, and we say we cannot change it because we already spoke that this is like this. So it kind of becomes like a contract, okay? Like a contract of the things. And that's how we transform the idea of speaking about something into a contract. And that's how we understand the concept of condition. So now we have conditions in the terms of what was spoken. The word condition, even if we today take it as a contract, kind of like an obligation that we have to do for sure, the origin really for the word condition is not something obligated. It's something that we all spoke about and we decide to do in that way. Now to understand the idea from where it comes now, a condition. A condition is something that we accept in order to have a perfect interaction with other people. So we have a condition as human. We have a condition with our brothers and sisters, with mom and dad, with the family, with the partner, a couple. So we all agree terms in that relation. So that's a condition, something that we speak about. But what happened? That some of those conditions are also cultural. That this means that we have accepted that culturally, and we don't even wonder why. So, for example, we all know that when we have a couple, we cannot be with other people. It's like something like that. So I cannot be with other people because I am with someone. But that it's a condition of the culture. Someone in the past made this condition. They all agree about that terms of you can only be with that person that you are with, okay? So through centuries of years, centuries, we have been repeating the same. So sadly, the condition has become something that we don't even know from where it comes from. So that's why the conditions became something negative, because we don't know how to handle it, from where it comes from. So we just take it as an obligation, something that just comes and we don't know from where. So because of this cultural idea of the conditions, we start to have in our mind the idea that conditions are limiting us, that they just limit constantly us. So we start we stop to take the conditions as agreements or pacts, agreements, common agreements or conscious pacts, and we start to take them as limited boundaries and conditions. So we start to look for unconditionality as a way to go beyond the limits, to move forward, to transcend these limitations. This is how we start to create the idea that if we have so many conditions, the way in which we can go out of this is through unconditionality. And how can we understand unconditionality? Well, when we see conditions as a limitation, so we think that the limitations bound us to certain people. So these people are with us connected because of those conditions. So there are people that it doesn't matter the forms, the shapes, the conflicts that we have, the differences that we have. It doesn't matter the conditions that we had as people. Those persons are always there. So because those people are constantly there, we call them unconditional because they kept being besides the conditions. So just to make an example of us here right now. So these chats that we are doing here, they are conditioned. We have a condition. The condition is that I speak in Spanish and English because those are the main languages that I speak. And most of you speak Spanish and English. So because of this, we have done like kind of an agreement, a condition that I would speak in those two languages. My condition is that I speak only those two languages all the time. And your condition is you have to speak these two languages for sure. Okay, so we have this condition in these videos, 2 languages. So what happened? Even if most of the people speak Spanish and most of the people hear English, there are some people here that speak Portuguese, that speak Italian, French, other languages, and they, even though they are here all the time. So that's unconditionality, because besides the conditions of these videos, they are here all the time, doing their best. Okay, so that's an example of conditions and unconditionality. So now, for example, we reach the other level of the understanding of a condition. For example, for some of you, maybe it is very heavy to listen to me in 2 languages. Like it's too long, or it makes me confused, or whatever. I cannot follow the line or anything. I don't know. So maybe some can say that, but even though you are here, even though these conditions. So what we can understand from this is that a condition is a choice. So everyone is here by free will, by its own choice. So a condition is never something that is really obligated. A condition is basically something that that we agree with somehow. So we can say, okay, if a condition is something that really is something that we agree, which is an election that we do in our life. So this means that anything that we live is a choice. So maybe you could ask, but what? Being poor is a choice? Is an election of myself to be poor, for example, for people to be poor? And I can say yes, because the condition of being poor is a state that you accept to be, because you have the opportunities to do different things. You can choose many ways to get out of that. If you are still there, it's because you are not choosing, or you are choosing to be like that. Or for example, maybe you can say a war. How can a war not be how can a war be a choice? So, well, when there is a war, you have the choice to go out, to go away, to escape. The reason why you stay there is because you condition yourself to be there. It's a choice. There is always ways of changing. Life is mutable, all the time changes. If we don't change, it's because we choose not to change. So the reason why we live the conditions of our life in unconscious way is because of the mandates of our clan, of the family. The concept of why we have these conditions and we don't even know about it is because of being unconscious. And we receive unconsciously these conditions because of the mandates. Mandates come from the word manus datus, that in Latin means given by hand. Okay, manus datus is given by hand. So a mandate is something that my ancestors gave to me and I will give to the other ones. So this is like a like a race. So we are running and you pass the torch to the next one and so on. So from one hand to the other hand, it keeps going in history. Okay, so that's a mandate. So the reason why I accept that mandate, which means why is a condition, okay? Why is a condition, is because I am afraid as a human to be expelled by my family. And this is a fear that we have from the very first families in the planet, that we are afraid of die because we don't have the clan protecting us. We don't have the family taking care of us. We are going to be starving if I have to do it alone. So thousands and thousands of years ago, this fear of not being part of the family was something that molded humans. So we receive the mandates even if we don't want them, even if we don't like them, because somehow within we are afraid of being away of our family. That's why even if we hate when we are receiving the burden of the family, we say, what can I do? It's my family. So the reason why we accept these mandates is because we are afraid of not being accepted by the family. So this is why in our unconsciousness, we are so conditioned by all the things that we accept, not even being aware of that. Only by fear. So this was explained from the unconscious way, which is the most common, because that's the burden that we have with conditions from the history of our family and so on. But when we become conscious, we start to realize that the conditions are not something wrong, but they are just tools that we choose to have in order to accomplish some missions, some purposes. So suddenly, the same condition that before was a weight, a burden for us, becomes a tool to accomplish our mission, so that helps us to set ourselves free. So I would use an example that I once did use also, so we can get this somehow. Imagine that that someone from our past gives us a hammer. So we receive the hammer by mandatus, which is given by hand. A mandate was given to us, the hammer, and we take the hammer. Because it's a family, I have to accept it. It's natural. I received the hammer because even if I don't know what is that for, it's something that I will take because it's someone familiar. So I want to respect them. So I take the hammer, and the other one, so suddenly this hammer is like a weight for me. Okay, it's a burden. I don't know how to use it. I don't know why I have it, but even though I have it because it is for my family, so I use the hammer, I don't know, to knock the walls and to break someone's head. I don't know how to use it, okay? So I am unaware of why do I have this hammer. So suddenly I become aware, I become conscious. So I realize what is the hammer for. So I start to put nails and to hang some frames and, I don't know, to fix some furniture. And suddenly I realized that the weight that I had now is a tool that I can use it, that I know how to use it. So I don't have to throw it away. Now I know how to manage that condition that I received. When you became aware, when you already know what is that for, what is the hammer for, how to fix the furniture and so on. Once you got all the information, suddenly you see around and you will see these people that are using also the hammer in different stages. Like you see people that are receiving the hammer, you see people that are trying to use the hammer, but they don't know, or people that are suffering because they have the hammer. So you see all the stages that you have been through. And you can picture yourself in all these different stages of understanding the hammer and the tool that it was. So suddenly you have this option of realizing that all the people around are just trying to use the hammer. They are just trying to understand how to handle the hammer. So in that moment, when you understand that conditions are just the choices that you have done in order to understand the tool that you have, suddenly you will see that these conditions are not specifically things, but a process of the things. So you will see the different processes that you had to go through to understand the tool. So in that moment is when you become unconditional, because you go beyond the hammer itself, and you understand the process to understand the meaning of the hammer. So that's why you are unconditional with the people that are knocking someone's head because they are learning how to use it. So you don't blame them for what they do. You try to go with them and help them understand how to use it. So in conditionality here, a person that is unconditional is the one that accepts the process of other people, that understand the stages where these people find themselves in trying to understand life. Okay, so unconditionality is the person that goes beyond the tools, beyond the conditions, and understand the process of those conditions. So that's respect, acceptance of the process of others. The conditions are aspects that helps us to move, to understand, to do things, and so on. So this is an eternal process because the universe is eternal. So it's something that we all do all the time, constantly. Is the process of learning is eternal. So we needed to look for a concept that is eternal in order to translate how to do it, how to manifest that unconditionality. So that eternity is translated in the concept of love. Love is the constant engine of transformation of energy, is the one that helps you to keep moving, keep going. So that's why we start to call this the unconditional love. Unconditional love is something eternal that moves constantly and that beholds and that holds all the conditions itself. So unconditional love is the one that tells you there's no limits to respect and accept the processes of others. You must respect, accept the different processes of all the people that are living different realities, because this is eternal. The thing here is to understand that unconditional love is not to be lovely with one another. It's not to be warm and hugging each other. No, it's not that. To love unconditionally is to accept one another, to accept everyone as they are. First of all, we have to accept ourselves, and then we can accept the whole world. And to accept the whole world is to accept how it is, not expecting for it to be as we want. So to love unconditionally is not to say, I want for this world to be this beautiful or to be in peace or whatever. The person that is willing to think that the world can be better because today is a wrong place is not unconditional. That person lives through conditions because it's their own conditions. Their own conditions to things, the expectations. So in order to transcend that, we have to accept the world as it is. And we will transform the world as we accept ourselves and we change ourselves. I hope we can get the idea. So let's go to the information for today. The vibration for today is B. The statement for today is, I am will that expands. Sit comfortable. We close our eyes and concentrate in our breathings. I take a deep breath and start to perceive the energy that moves around my body, that goes through my muscles, my organs, and around my skin. As I perceive the waves of this energy with its heat and cold in each part of my body, and I become aware that this energy are my emotions. I pay attention to which emotions I feel now, which ones are activated right now in me. I recognize that these emotions are my energy. The energy is magnetism, and the magnetism is in the particles that conform, that shaped my atoms. And all this energy is my soul. So I take all this energy and expand my soul, dissolving my body, exploding as a star in the cosmos, making each atom of myself expand towards the infinite, filling the void, feeling the expansion of my soul in the universe. I recognize I am just energy. I am soul. I become aware that my soul is unconditional, is free, and it's its own will to connect each one of the particles, atoms, molecules, and cells that represent each one of them my conditions. Billions of conditions that make me be who I am. All bounded and connected by the unconditional love of my soul. So I realize that each one of these conditions are my tools to be who I am, and that I have to put them all together in order to exist. It's because of them that I am here. And I recognize that the unconditionality that I feel in my soul is the one that gives a meaning to all of these atoms, to be able to transform, to evolve. It is my inner unconditionality that sets my body free. I recognize that each aspect of myself is in these conditions are the tools that help me be this being here and now. And it's my unconditionality, the one that pushed me forward to transcend, to evolve, to transform myself for the eternity. I recognize that each condition is an aspect, a step in my way of evolution, and that by accepting it, I can become unconditional. So I put all that consciousness together, and from my heart, I enlighten each part of myself, accepting each aspect of me, accepting myself and the world around me. I accept the process of my own transformation and the planet's transformation. I am the will that expands. I am the will that expands. I am the will that expands. I believe in me. From my heart, I take a deep breath and start to expand, stretching the body, all this consciousness around. And each one at its own time, come back here and now. Thank you, everybody, for being here, as always. And see you tomorrow at the same time.